the same old story that I heard yesterday.
Perfect time to do your sharing if you're going to do it.
I don't.
You don't share?
I don't believe in social media.
I believe it. I don't believe in being on it for my business. But not every time I go on there, it makes me
Give me that good news.
Good morning.
All right. If you're tired of the same old shit, we got good news for you. It's time for the grounds with Giles and Jones, and sitting in again. Well, it's The Sims. The Sims. There you go. And of course, the grounds brought to you by Cannabis CBD Shop. Offers quality, affordable, convenient products. Their mission is to provide an alternative natural way of healing without using industrialized pharmaceuticals. We don't like those pharmaceuticals from the industries. We offer a broad array of hemp products to address a wide variety of ailments. Our team will guide you through your options to make sure that you are comfortable with your purchase. Visit them at 818 Front Street, McHenry, Illinois, 60050, or at cannabiscbdshop.com, or just give them a call, 815-687-2608. Gentlemen, good morning.
I'll bid $5.25, Bob.
$5.25, Bob.
He always says, he breaks in, he sounds like the guy from, Price is Right.
Oh, that's right. $5.20. I'll do $1.
$1.
Can we play
I love
the
that
mountain
show.
climbing
You
game?
know?
Right? Yeah.
Can we get a
Think about that little
216? How
It's
about a
a new
216?
car.
Morning, Jen.
Do kids these days even watch like game shows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Other than
Maybe.
watching their phone?
Maybe on YouTube they
Man,
can pull
Price
up
is Right. All that stuff was awesome.
Jen Krejci, good morning. Here's the cool thing. Check out thedreamhomeexperts.com. She put together a killer website for them. Nice job, Jen. Jen and I will be talking this weekend to update 216 The Net
Nice.
website as well.
That's awesome.
Killer. Check them out. Of course, they're on today at noon. They've got a big their big show. They got a brand new sponsor of
Who's this?
April Air, the Dream Home Experts. But again, I love that website, but I didn't see anything with 216 The Net on there. just
pointing that out.
only 3 million listeners.
3.7, by the way.
3.7. Yeah, we're climbing, huh? Good thing
The
it's
radio
not a
station
video,
they
it's
happen
all
to be on.
3.7.
Anyway, I'm just saying, Phil, how are you, buddy? Look at that, Phil, my good friend. Never give up. Got my frequencies RS band. I'm just throwing out love to everybody today.
Right on.
That's it.
Home will throw out love to the fathers too, because this weekend is Father's Day.
Yeah.
The big
Father's
father.
Day
you know.
and Juneteenth. Yeah.
And Father's Day,
Big weekend.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Big weekend. I mean,
And I lost my father this past fall, so it'll be the first Father's Day I've had without a father.
Where'd you see him last?
He was in a nursing home.
Is that too soon?
That's too soon as he kicked
I lost
you and stabbed
him.
you.
I lost him. Where'd you have him?
Hey,
Let's walk. Let's retrace the steps. I'm kidding. I'm sorry about that.
No, thank you. It was actually long overdue and a blessing when it finally happened, but it will be a little rough on Sunday, I'll have to admit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Young guy.
85.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, in today's day and age,
I mean,
85,
we were just talking about somebody
Yeah.
living to be 205
104,
or something.
104. Yeah.
109.
I can't even think about that.
Yeah.
You know, or it's hard. I shouldn't say I can't think about it. It's hard to think about it. You know, I'm very close with my dad. And so it's one of those things that is, you know, you sit back and you go to yourself, wow, all these years you've had him around. And have you really used, and I don't mean used in a way, but have you really used them to the full extent? Have you really got to know them? Have you shared your life with them? Because, I mean, I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's all about. And a lot of people, I mean, so many people don't do that. They don't share their life with their family and their friends. You know, I mean, they're all about themselves, or they disappear and go out on their own. And, you know, family's family.
You kind of look at it, you look at it and you get busy with your own life, right? So my folks live in Iowa. We live all the way over here in Illinois, still in the Midwest. They're 4 hours away. It's not a long trip, right? But you're like, we're busy. And you wish, there are times, as my kids are growing, as Uncle Pete and I would say, you get wise when you hit 50.
Yeah.
I love it. people ask what was the best years of your life, and I think I'm in them right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd agree.
you
I'd
know,
agree.
and
You're starting to understand things more and appreciate things. So if that makes it the best years of your life, you know, rather than just kind of coasting through. I didn't coast through, but you know, I've been working my ass off. But the appreciation, you know, is not there. I mean, because I've done a lot of fun, cool shit in my life, but I didn't appreciate it. Just like kind of next, you know, next, keep moving on. And now it's kind of going, you know, there's a lot more fun, a lot cooler than you really thought about, you know, at this point. So now I'm going to try to appreciate it even more. So,
and especially for you, I think you're the only grandpa in the room.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, that puts a whole different spin on stuff, right? Because I guess you're probably like me. Your mind is like, I'm still 22.
I'm 18.
Right?
Yeah,
I still got
18,
that energy, that creative stuff. I want to do stuff. And then my body's like, oh, hell no.
I haven't gotten to that point yet. My body's still saying go.
Yeah.
My body, I wake up in the morning after I go through my points, you know, it's like, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? It's like, let's kill it.
Well, yeah, no. I was an athlete.
Though.
You know, I was an athlete in high school and in college, so my body's beat.
Yeah.
You know, I got brothers who will go and run 10 miles. I look at that and go, man, I walk 2 miles a night, and it feels like somebody's hit me with a baseball bat the whole way that I'm just walking. And that's at 3.1 miles an hour on average.
Right.
By the way,
you're fast.
So that's because my dog is pulling me.
Yeah, right.
So. But the interesting thing is now that being a grandpa is now you're kind of seeing your where it was your child and you're like, oh man, I got to worry about this kid. Now you're like, oh man,
this came from my child.
Yeah, this is,
and I get to give her back when she's cranky.
Right. And it's a whole different plane
of
wow, I can really love and affect and teach and just
hoping that I can interject, you know, my love, my knowledge to them, but you can't assume that your kids are going to want you to or let you.
Right.
And that's a tough one, you know, but I have to respect that. And I have to really kind of sit back before I say these things to them, you know?
Well, the other thing, and I don't know if you've run into this, I see it from other families. You've seen it, I'm sure too, Sam, is all of a sudden your parents who raised you are now the grandparents. They don't know anything about kids.
Right. You lose it. You completely. I'm not a grandparent yet, and if somebody handed me a 4-year-old, I'd be like, "Oh my god, what do I do? I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that."
Right.
But that's
I
over.
didn't lose it.
That's over.
Really?
No,
you wouldn't know what to do with.
Well, I would know what to do, but it's like I'm not the expert anymore.
No.
I picked it right up. I was there.
Do your kids think that?
Yeah.
So
I was there actually when my daughter had my grandbaby. We, you know, we believe in all natural as much as possible. We did, you know, a water birth.
Yeah.
Didn't do the hospital, the shots, all that, you know, craziness.
That was water birth, not waterboard.
Yeah, water. Yeah, water birth. Yeah,
no waterboarding.
Here comes the baby.
Do not waterboard pregnant women. That's our PSA of the day. 21.6 of that. Do not waterboard pregnant women.
I actually
she was just all smiles at
the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
She's a happy baby not for the most part. She's a happy baby, but I delivered my son. I delivered him at home. We did an at-home water birth with my son. My daughter did the same thing.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's
incredible. It's crazy, you know. But I picked it right up. It's just like once, you know, after everything was taken care of. I mean, baby, right in my arms. It came like right.
You were in
flooding
the pool?
Right back.
You were in the pool.
No, I wasn't in. Oh, they wouldn't let me in the building because of COVID. But the second because we didn't do it at home, we
you
did
were
it
in the
Burlington.
pool with the wife.
No, I was right outside the pool.
Yeah,
you know, with my wife. Yeah,
Ugh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, dude, no. You know what people say that?
Talk about human soup.
Yeah, absolute best experience you could ever imagine. It gives a completely different perspective of life. You know, other than you know the way our world is today with pharmaceuticals and medicate it and shoot this and shoot that. And, you know, the baby's out. All right, you got 6 hours now. You got to get the hell out of the hospital.
Right.
You know, you don't get time, and they take the baby. They take the baby away from you. You know, my son was never away from us for the first
18 years of his
life.
No,
probably 2 years of his life. We were one of us was always with him the first 2 years of his life. Never away from us.
That was the way with all of our kids. We never, we always one of us was always home no matter what. We never did daycare. We never did childcare.
Right.
Like a couple of times our in-laws would watch them. That was really about it. So,
I love it, Jen.
Jen says, my parenting style, I threaten my 12-year-old that when she's a mom, long into the future, I'll sugar up my grandkids and send them home to her. Seems to work. My kiddo straightens her attitude pretty quickly after that.
yeah. That's a heck of a threat, Ma.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
some people
12-year-old.
do that. And I
Hey,
mean,
congratulations.
maybe that is part
bro.
of being a a grandparent. You know, you can kind of give back what your kids gave to you.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, and with my dad, we kind of grew apart like you guys were talking about. But then after my stepmom died, he moved back to town, and he really made an effort. And that's what I got to remember when I get to that age, because when you're in your 40s or whatever, 50s, you're too busy with your own shit, and we really need to get that bond. And I really was able to get back with him, and understand him again. But every day goes by, it's like there's something I should have asked him, or I'd like to ask him.
Your family
And
has
you
so
wish
much
you had
going.
more time with him.
Right. And that's exactly what I was just going to say. The thing is if your family moves away, right, or if you move away from mom, dad, different story, right? You do that. But if they are close, 20, 30 minutes, an hour away, and you're not seeing them on a fairly regular basis, I think you're making a huge fucking mistake.
Yeah. And pick their brain.
Right,
if
exactly.
you're talking to a person from a previous generation, all you got to do to start the conversation is, what was it like when you were in high school? What was it like when you were, your first job? And then you get this wealth of information.
And hopefully,
you got to pull it out, though.
Hopefully,
hopefully.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, hopefully, your parent is one that actually will share and completely but honest with you. Right. So when my kids ask me something, I am deadly honest with them to the point that they try. Right. Yeah. Well, and so a lot of the things that, like, when we go deeper into these conversations that people don't talk about is, you think a lot of people think that, their mom and dad have got it made, and, they've got their head screwed on straight, and, you're, oh my God, you've got all this shit running through your head, and you're worried about that, and you're worried about this. And you come to find out that, no, they're not, they don't have their shit together as well as you think they do. They're just not showing it. I mean, for me, I show it, and I tell everybody what's going on and ask them. And I use my dad. That was actually a letter basically he wrote to my brothers and I about that. I don't want you to buy me anything. I don't want you to take me any place. I want to sit down with you. I want to talk to you. I want to know you. I want to know your fears. I want to know your dreams. I want to know your hopes. And you're going to get it straight. Hopefully your family is going to give it to you straight, because they're the ones. For me, you're going to get it straight from me.
I was talking with a guy, and his dad. This is really pretty cool. And now my kids, most of them are out of the house, but his dad at every major milestone or big thing wrote a letter to his kids.
My dad does that every year.
Hit a home run, your first home run in baseball. His dad would write a letter, right? And so this guy has all these letters from his dad on how proud he is and whatnot of all these milestones in his life. So he started doing it for his kids, because that's the way it was in his family. And then his dad, was in a long-term care facility or whatever. And then he wrote,
writing his dad letters.
He wrote his dad a letter.
That's awesome.
About all the milestones and things, and just to say, listen, you may be at the end of your race here, but the amazing thing is you here's the effect you've had on the generations,
right,
and everything you did. And I was just like, oh man, I wish I would have thought of something like that when my kids were young.
You still have time, sir.
Oh yeah, no,
I still have time, and it's a good thing, because my dad does that minimally once a year for Christmas. We get a nice letter from them, and like this year, it's really going to be next to impossible to top what my dad has done for us as a family. But
that's awesome.
I don't think you need to top it. Just
even keep up with it. Even come close to half of what he's done, because his wisdom and his love and his care. I mean, my mom's a great, wonderful person too. I mean, they're both amazing, and I'm sure she probably has something to do with it. But I mean, the stuff he puts together, and him just making you think about things.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that he's there if I need him, which is I couldn't imagine. You know, you hear some of these people's stories in life about how their family's just a pile of crap. You know, for me, it's really hard, and it sucks because you know hopefully you chose to bring those kids into the world. You should be with them, and take care of them to any extent that you can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thanks, Mom. That's my mom right there.
Oh,
But,
Yeah. You know, Wendy, always love having you tuning in. Thank you so much.
You know,
our number one of our 3.7 million.
that's right.
Yeah, right there.
And then my wife will pop up there soon too.
Yeah.
Soon too. My dad actually died in a car accident on Christmas Eve, as a matter of fact, 2 years ago. But he and I, we weren't really close. We would talk on the phone at holidays, birthdays. He'd send a card. I'd send a Father's Day card, birthday card. You know, we'd do things like, the niceties. I will say probably the one thing that I actually learned from him in a roundabout sort of way was calmness. Now, he was actually a phenomenally passive fellow. It was extremely difficult to get him riled up, short of hitting him upside the head with a brick. He just didn't. But reflectively, that's probably the one thing that I took away from him was recognizing his calmness. And that's probably about it. But,
well, you definitely seem to have picked that up from him. I mean, you definitely have a very calm aura around you, and your demeanor.
Well, then that's something I actually had to work on. And I wasn't always.
A ginger had to work on being calm.
Got to go to the hair color on that one. Guy with no hair is going to the ginger color.
But it's true. It's true. There was some stereotypical truthness to my gingerness. But I really appreciate what you have said about your dad. And like my father-in-law, holy cow, he has been very much like a father figure to me. Incredibly so.
Still
Remarkably.
on his knee, huh?
He does.
Come on over here, Pete.
If I wanted him to, he'd probably give it a shot.
Sure.
But he's not exactly I'd probably break his knee at this point. But it's one thing that I do with my kids that I never got from my dad is to make sure I'm more of a teller, a talker. Occasionally, very occasionally, I'll throw out like a post or something on Facebook. Very rarely, it's not frequent. But I make a point more of picking up the phone and calling and saying, excellent job, good job. I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm really impressed with the person you've become, because I want them to hear that directly from my mouth. Yeah. That's more important to me because that's something I didn't get.
Right.
So,
and that's important, right? Yeah. I mean, that's hugely important. I mean, I do that to my kids too. I think my son's probably fed up with it at this point with me. Like maybe I say it too much, but I really do feel that I write
22,
20. Yeah. Going to be 23 on the 23rd this month. But like, I'll write him a note in the morning, just to say, hey,
here's
good job. Thanks. You appreciate what you did last night.
So, but here's the interesting thing, especially with sons, right? So my son is the oldest. He'll be 27 this year. And the interesting thing, I believe, is as they get older, they appreciate that more. Sons, they start understanding and returning that. And the way that they do that is just when you look at their, the way that they live their life and the things that they do. And, you're just like, okay, you were a goofy little kid and man, I'm proud as hell of you.
Right, you're stepping it up.
Yeah. My son's in the Navy, and I tell him every day, I'm like, I respect you. You got more balls than
Right.
Yeah.
We all had the chance to do that, and
Yeah,
I
no
chose
way, not a
not to.
chance. Not a chance in the world I would
You
do
know?
that.
I got disinvited.
I got I thought he was going to say disenchanted
Yeah, right.
with it.
Well,
Disinvited.
So the things that he's done and the
Yeah.
places that he's seen and things that he can't talk about because he works for the United States government.
Yeah.
You're just like, I respect the hell out of you, and to see how he's putting his life together now, I'm just like, man, he's happy. He's doing what he wants to, and it's a great thing.
Phil's got a question for the panel here. Says, do your parents call you, or do you call them? Because I don't call them. I actually call my mom on somewhat a routine basis, usually once a day during the week.
When
you have
to.
Yeah.
You have you have to. I mean, I shouldn't say you have to. You should. They're your parents. They're going to share with you. They love you. If nothing else, say, "Hey, I love you. How you doing? Have a good day."
Yeah.
And that's it. You know what I mean?
Phil, I reach out to my parents once every couple of weeks just to check in, see how things are going.
Yeah.
With my parents, it's back and forth on both levels. It's more so my dad and I than my mom. I mean, when I see my mom, I love my mom. I talk to my mom, but we don't call back and forth. I call my dad on my dad's cell phone. Yeah. My mom has a cell phone, but she doesn't really use it. But I mean, I'll call my dad. My dad and I are really more connected than I think a lot of people are. I mean, we do a lot of stuff together. Which has been it's just always been great. We're into, as you guys know, I'm into cars. Yeah. I collect and restore. Yeah. Just a little bit, got a couple of them, but no, we collect and we restore them. We like to go to auctions and stuff like that. So we're always talking about, what we see, what we do, or what we want to buy or what have you. I mean, like just on Wednesday this week, every year, except for last year, all the boys get together. Sons, dad, my nephews, and we go road racing. We take our cars up to Black Hawk Farms. And so that's kind of like our Father's Day fun, if you will. And, this year Dad didn't race.
I saw your post on that. It was really kind of, is it just regular cars?
Yeah, you can use your street cars, or you can bring up a modified car. We've got a few up there.
Some street cars going around the track. That was really pretty cool.
It's a great day. You can literally, if you wanted to, you could drive your minivan up there and pay them. It's like $300 for the day. It's totally worth it if you've never raced and have any inkling in wanting to race around a track. It's not straight line. And it's just an absolutely glorious day. And this year kind of really hit home a little bit more because Dad did not race this year.
Yeah.
I think he's just feeling his age a little bit. And of course, I guess I'll take that comment back a little bit. Both my nephews were using his car. So he didn't want to take any track time from him. But, he's 81. Yeah. So still looks like he's 65. So does my mom. They're taking awesome care of themselves, But so we talk all the time. I kind of segued off of that. But we talk all the time. I mean, I think it's really important, and that's the the letter that he sent this time is, talk to me,
Gary.
Talk to me. Be with me. Don't. Don't go off on your own and disappear. Let's live life.
So the interesting thing, like with my family, my kids, we have a family text.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And everybody's involved in now. The youngest has a phone, so she's involved in it. And we will use that text multiple times a week, celebrating things. My daughter Ashley just got done with her 1 year of unpaid internship, and she's got like 2 papers left to finish up her master's.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, proud as shit of her.
Amazing.
And so we celebrate that. My 29th wedding anniversary was last Sunday, and she and her boyfriend took us and the Krejcis out to eat.
Nice.
Those are the times you're like,
holy cow.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a small bill either.
Yeah.
Right. We went to Pilot Pete's down. It was
nice.
Yeah.
What is it?
Pete's.
Pilot Pete's down in
Zell, Schaumburg.
Yeah.
It's right on the airport.
Right on the edge of Schaumburg.
It's the people that own planes fly in there, park their plane, come in for dinner.
Milwaukee?
No, it's down in Schaumburg.
It's
on
like
the
Schaumburg,
edges.
Private
Roselle.
airport down there?
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
Pilot Pete, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's really good
cool.
food.
So you sit there on the runway.
Lobster,
and watch.
the lobster nachos.
See,
are
that
incredible.
reminded when I was little, like very little, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, Tim. Good morning.
Good morning, Tim. My dad actually used to take me to a diner at the old Independence, Missouri airport.
Cool.
And that's where I got introduced to biscuits and gravy. I remember that at a young
Independence,
age.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri.
Missouri. And well, I say Missouri. I pronounce it correctly because I moved to Chicagoland.
That's right.
But,
Chicago.
yeah,
There used to be a
Chicagoland gave me
buffet.
diction.
It gave me diction.
Yeah.
There was a place called the 94th
And
Aero
those,
Squad.
that's something
But-
you'll remember the rest of your life,
Yeah.
right? And that's,
Well, I mean, I had forgotten until you just talked about
See?
Pilot
Right,
Pete
you
at the
remember.
airport.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah,
And
but it's
that
there.
brings back a lot of good memories. And that's
Biscuits
the
and
kind of
gravy
things I'm
sounds
trying to
great.
do with my kids,
Yeah.
right? That we've done with my dad. Like my dad and I, like I said, we're in the car. So every year we go to, like, I don't know if you guys know about cars like Barrett Jackson auction. We'll
Oh, yeah.
We'll go to Arizona. I've been on stage with all those guys for the last 20 years. You know, if you go back and rewind them, you'll see my cute, chubby little face walking across and staring at cars and, talking and bullshitting and,
That's awesome.
and like Meekum auctions,
Meekum.
we're always here at Schaumburg. If you've never gone, it's just a good, fun day to just walk around, look at cars and go, hey, I got my first kiss in that car. Or, hey, that might be where I lost something.
Right.
I didn't really
Contacts.
lose, but yeah,
My
contact.
contact. Right.
Lost a quarter in that car. Gary says he wanted to join us here on the live stream, but the Sweden-Slovakia Euro 2020 match beckons.
Boy.
Lols.
All right,
But,
Gary.
He must.
Thanks,
he
buddy.
must be talking UFC.
You must be talking
UFC or
football.
something.
Football, but,
Yeah.
Yeah.
try. They have Father's Day as a tradition.
Yeah.
It is that day, but try to make a tradition with your father in some other shape or form, like a communication once a month. If you're not together, something to keep
Yeah.
going, to pass things on, to make the, and actually, hopefully, your father can kind of, if you have a decent relationship, make you feel that you
Yeah.
are a really good person, and you're normal, and he's normal, and you can really share back and forth with
Well,
each other.
With me, I've got 3 older brothers, and so my junior and senior in high school, I was kind of an only child because all my brothers were out, and in college, whatever. And that's, every day you get home from school, and I had a 68 Beetle.
Nice.
And my dad and I worked on that, That's how I learned to redo a motor. You pull it out.
Dude, that's awesome.
Rebuild the carburetor.
See,
The little 3 bolts on the bottom of that bug, and it
drop
just
the
dropped
whole
down.
motor out.
2 guys pick it up and carry it over the weight bench.
That's great.
We did body work on that thing, and those were, I cherish those. Those were
You remember that the
That's
rest of
awesome.
your
yeah,
life.
those were the days. So a lot of things that we do now, I love woodworking. I love, upcycling wood and things of that nature. So the fun thing is now my kids get involved in that, sanding wood or building, and
Right.
and that's
So
kinda-
they followed after
Yeah.
you.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's same with my kid. We've built. I've restored a couple cars with a lot of cars.
Yeah.
But I restored cars with my dad. Now my son's done some stuff with me. We rebuilt a motor on a 50 Chevy
Cool.
in my garage back at the old place over there in Bull Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a car now that we bought for him. He's got a nice Mustang SVO that we're kind of going through and redoing.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things you'll remember. For the rest of your life.
Yeah, you got to
Because
create memories.
right. Well,
Yeah.
you're learning something new. You're
Oh.
something different.
Well, just back in the 70s, right? Hey, hold on to this flashlight.
Right.
Right.
And you're a little kid, the flashlight's going everywhere. God, get that flashlight back down.
I had no choice.
Is that a Phillips screwdriver?
My dad did it right because I had no choice but to learn. Because my first car
Yeah.
was a '77 Caprice Classic 4-door. Beautiful, with that plush
The
crushed
boat.
blue interior.
Oh,
Boat,
man.
yeah, right. So my dad got real long or short story. Dad got it from his corporation that he was working for. Bought it, gave it to my mom. Mom drove it, gave it to my brother. He drove it, gave it to my other
Yeah.
brother. He drove it and blew it up. And so they go on your birthday. Here's your car. The motor doesn't work, but here's a motor. Figure out how to get it in.
That's similar.
I
Mine
got
was
the motor in.
a 76 Vega. Chevy
Nice.
Vega,
Oh,
and my dad handed me the carburetor and said, "If you can make it run, it's yours."
Nice.
And that's how I learned how to rebuild a
Yeah.
carburetor. And
They had the V8, the Vega.
And
No, that would have been a
no, it was a
four-cylinder one.
it was a bored out 4-cylinder with steel sleeves and an aluminum block. It was based on a
Pumping it
Codsworth
up.
design, and that thing would rip it. And I topped it out at 85 in third gear. I never was able to top it out in fourth, but I used to rip that thing. I would be Corvettes, Camaros, Mustangs. That thing would rip it. It was geared
so
really
light too.
Yeah, so light, and used to race it around the back roads of Atherton, Missouri, Buckner, which is really far out country towns.
Phil had his first was a 61 Chevy Ragtop.
Oh, that's worth a boatload of money right now.
Yeah. Well, that's what I say. I look at that. I look at that old Beetle, that '68 Beetle I had, and I think when I got rid of it, I sold it for $500. I bought it for $300, so drove it for 4 or 5 years. Like, I made money, And then I look at it and go, oh crap.
Yeah,
I wish I still had that thing.
Oh my God! All of our parents, the cars that they had now are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if they're in good shape.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, that's for me. That's
my dad.
That's been a passion for my dad for years. He got me into it. I don't know how he got me hooked, but he did.
My dad for years had a '48 Oldsmobile.
Wow.
The steering wheel was this big. Kept it in the barn for years and years. Stored it for years and years. His dream was always to fix it up, and then he sold it. The chrome, everything was still beautiful on it because it didn't see any. Just saw mice. Really. But now he's got a 1940, 1950 maybe Chevy pickup that he's been redoing.
Wow. Nice big
five
fat
window
fender.
Man.
Five window.
The wood bed, the whole
We
works.
had one of those. I probably owned 150 cars, maybe 200 over the years.
Between my wife and I think on our insurance we're on car number 81 or 82.
Wow.
You're like me. It's just it's
I
like
get bored with them.
Right, you get
after a
bored
while.
with them. Yeah. And that's exactly it. I mean,
then get something else or do something else. And like my dad, I do wish that I had my dad when I was very young had an all white 66 Mustang with a pony interior, and the back seat was the whole pony seat in the back seat.
And that was great marketing.
Unfortunately, at that point in time, he was crossing a picket line to go to work. He was a printer, and he was crossing a picket line, and someone followed him home from the picket line and threw a road flare in the car and burned it up. And, which really, really sucks. But
Tobin says when he and I roomed together, I had the turd. He had yours was a nice Ford. Was yours an F-150? He had a nice white one, but I had this 1970 Ford Ranger F-100. Had the 300 straight six in it.
Oh my God!
Still running today.
3 on the tree.
Yeah, still running
Ford's
today.
best engine ever.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And this thing was it was wonderful. If you took the tailgate down, the sidewall would fall out. Take 2 guys to close, back up to hold it in. And you could see the passenger wheel going around. So when we would go road tripping, we'd just throw the cans of beer down at the tire, and it looked like you're running over. But that thing never failed me. It would go through anything. Awesome. As a matter of fact, I ended up taking the engine out of that and putting it into a 79.
It's amazing. And if you really talk to a lot of people, at least our age group, more and more these days, it's kind of fallen to the wayside, which I would hope that kids would actually get involved in it. But there's always some type of vehicle that can put you and somebody the closest, and usually a father, something you can remember as a father doing, as a vehicle.
Right.
I mean, that's
well, those engines back in the day, right? The old, he had the 79 F-150. It was nice white, But the interesting thing was all those trucks and old cars were 1/2-inch ratchet and a Phillips regular screwdriver.
Right, it wasn't much to
You
work
just needed 2 things.
It was simple to work on. You need a gas spark plug and some electrical, and good to go.
73 VW thing. Oh, you're not kidding.
You are not my dad.
Oh.
So why would I talk about your thing?
Thing would be great.
Oh my God.
Orange.
Orange. Yeah.
Orange?
Have you seen it?
Oh, you guys have one?
Oh, we had. I bought it for her for Mother's Day.
Oh.
Don't get me. Well, she's going to correct me, but I think 13 years ago I bought it for her for Mother's Day. She has always wanted it. She watched the movie 50 First Dates.
Oh,
and that's in the movie of 50 First Dates. She's like, "What is that?" My dad's like, "It's a thing."
Yeah, it's a
She's like,
thing.
"What?
VW
What is that?"
Yeah.
People always say, "What is that thing?" It's exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
It is the
Who's
most.
on
That
first?
is who's on first. That car actually We still have it. We'll have it till the day we die.
Look at
Those
that.
are cool.
Tobin
Yeah.
put 350,000 miles on that truck.
Yeah.
Holy
That was the good old
Yeah, yeah.
boys. God, that was nice.
Yeah.
That had the weird side pan like little like toolboxes on the side. I
Yeah,
think, too.
yeah, little fold outs, but
Yeah.
See, that's how
You
my
can't-
dad would drive cars. He would the more miles he could put on it, the happier he was.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
And just
I just got rid of my Navigator that had,
Right.
well over
My
250,000.
my
Nice.
philosophy is you got to get rid of it before 100,000. But if you keep it at 100,000, you might as well put 3 on it.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
And if you maintain them, they run forever.
Well, and here's the best thing too. Now is you don't even you
And
don't
hopefully your dad showed you how to do it.
right. Well, the other thing is nowadays, you can go take it over here to our good buddy Luke at Sticker Dude and change the color in a weekend.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
wrap it. You don't have
Right.
to get it. Where you had
Might
to
cost
sand it
more
all
than the
down,
vehicle's worth, but you can do that.
right? But you don't have to sand it.
Good
all
morning,
down
Lisa.
And,
Okay.
put it in the booth, all that good stuff. All you got to do is take it over there, have them wrap it any color you want.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't
They,
think of
they
that.
actually, a lot of car dealers will tell you, it's when you buy the car, you're better off getting a wrap and putting it on the car
Yeah.
for resale value because
Because it doesn't chip the
the
paint.
original paint will never get chipped. Or
Huh.
anything.
Yeah.
I should take my little car now I have and have a full Deadpool wrap.
You
put on
should.
There you go.
There you go. It only costs you about $3,000.
I don't actually really care for the car that much. I mean, it's all right.
It would be awesome
It's serving
with
a
that Deadpool.
purpose. But that would be a fun.
Deadpool, and just throw 216 the net somewhere on it. We can
Yeah.
write that baby off.
There you go.
You
Yeah,
could
it's a
actually
bit-
do that. You
right?
wrap
Is
that-
there a
yeah.
particular car that you had once upon a time that you wish you really still had that you wish you kept?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about
I had-
half of them. But
yeah. So my second car was a '79 Buick Regal.
Ooh,
Two-door.
there you go.
Okay.
Now this thing was a sweet car. Just the ride, you just float in it. Had real power steering, not power assist.
Yeah, real
so it's
stuff.
like
Yeah, you could use your freaking fingernail
yeah.
to steer it. Yeah.
But it had it, and my parents knew that I would probably kill myself if I had a muscle car. Like my buddies had a '71 Cougar with a 351 Cleveland board out, and so they let me get this big, 3,000-pound car with a 231 V6.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I pimped it out. I
So you were
put
to
I put
60
Kragers.
eventually.
I put Kragers
Eventually,
and
yeah.
everything on it.
Yeah,
I
looked
put
all
Kragers
bitchin'.
and everything on it to make it look mean.
Yeah.
And
That's
it was
kind of
a-
like I had a '78 Grand Prix.
Oh.
I'm not a car guy, so I'm sorry.
Well, then
if
get
I-
out of this conversation.
Yeah. Who
Thanks
are
for
you?
stopping by.
I
Not
said
a
I'm
car.
not-
You like girls too?
I do. I
Okay,
like
good, you're
cars.
back
I
in,
just
all
don't know much about it. But I had a '78 Grand Prix, and it had the Landau top,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the opera lights.
Mm.
Oh.
People
And
pay
it
a lot of
had-
extra money for
It
that
had
stuff.
the smaller 8-cylinder. So
Okay.
it was, and I got the reason I had to get rid of it was I had 3 speeding tickets in a 365-day period back then in Illinois. That meant
That's
you
nothing.
lost your
Lost
license.
your license, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I applied for the license to drive to work. You can get
Yeah.
you can lose your license,
Work-
and they
yeah, the
denied
work-
that.
the
They
work
denied
permit.
my-
Work.
Wow.
They denied my work permit. So
Damn.
for 6 months, I drove like an old lady, like hand signals.
Wow.
I had a lead
Oh,
foot, so
okay.
I had to get a smaller car. That
Kept
was
my
gonna-
blinker on
Yeah.
the whole way.
You know,
You actually
Yeah.
you just brought a tear to my eye talking when you asked that question. My dad loved, and I'm gonna cry. I love him so much.
Is that him?
Yes, hey buddy, love
That's
you.
right.
All right.
we were
you're
young.
right. Happy Father's Day,
Yeah,
Pops.
happy Father's Day,
Father's
Pops.
Day.
When we were young, I told you I'm gonna cry.
That's all right.
That's all right.
So you're on radio. Nobody will know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
My dad wanted to keep us brothers together, give us something to bond with, right? And we didn't have much when we were growing up.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but he
Yeah,
informed
right.
me, and I look back, right? So Mom and him figured out a way to put together a couple $1,000. He bought a '68 Camaro.
Whoa.
Right. It was a drag car when we bought it. It was bad. It had that metal flake paint on it. You could rub your hand down and just cut your hands, right? I mean,
Yeah.
bad. But he bought this for the 3 of us so we could stay together and stay off drugs, was his reasoning to get
I know.
together, right?
And now your
So-
son sells it.
and now I sell it, right? Exactly.
Wow.
But yeah, now I sell it. Stop at Cannabis and get some pre-rolled doobies,
That's
and you'll
right.
feel great for Father's Day
without the
Yeah.
brain fog.
without the brain fog. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so they brought this car home, and literally between me and my 2 brothers, Todd and Stuart, we read manuals,
Yes.
and we
remember
rebuilt
that?
this
Yeah.
car from top to
Chilton's,
bottom. Chilton's.
Chilton's.
Yep,
Yeah.
Chilton's,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then there was.
You always had
I
the
can't
Chiltons.
think, Dad, if you remember the name of the place that we got all the parts of out in North Chicago. I can't remember it. But so we like read magazines and said, this is what you do to the motor. This is what you add. So we went out, not Dixon Automotive, but Dad, you'll remember it. Bring it up. He's got a mind like you could believe. So we built this car from scratch in our garage, a little one-car garage in Mundelein, right? And then we built the motor, and we took this motor, and you're going to laugh at this one. Pulled the motor out. We took it down, took it apart. We carried it downstairs, did all the stuff to it, made it all pretty, put it back together, and then realized it's a heavy son of a bitch. Can't get it back up the stairs. I'll have to bring in some pictures, guys. We had so much fun with this thing. And we drag raced it. I mean, it was beautiful. We called it the Imposter because it was a 68 Camaro with white racing stripes on it to look like an SS.
Yeah.
Car was immaculate. Like we were the talk of the town. And back then, Friday and Saturday night was cruise night. So we take it out to the McDonald's. And Dad, I know I never really told you this, but I raced the living shit out of that thing.
You don't think he knows?
I mean,
that?
up and down Route 21.
He knows
and
that.
You know the demise of that car, unfortunately. We built it. The kids, we started going off to college, didn't have a lot of money. He saw it, kind of saddened us. When I came back from college one weekend, and the car was in the garage.
Yeah.
He bought it back. I drove it, got in an accident.
Oh.
I got rear-ended sitting still.
Oh.
A van hit me going 55 miles an hour.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So we sold it at that point and to a guy that actually worked for our plastics business back then. And they fixed it. He sold it. And then I think 5 years ago we were talking about the car again.
Mhm.
And my dad was and he is my dad, he's just, there's not anything I can't think that he's not great at. Same with, but he tried to track the car down. He tracked it down. It was in a junkyard. It was totaled.
Man.
But I mean, that is, I've got a picture of me in my garage with me doing just the most wicked burnout with smoke flying off the tires and the marks on the ground. And that is something the rest of my life, because that is actually what started, because I'm not super close with my brothers. I'm trying to be more and more, but that really bonded us, and cars kind of pull us together. Hence, we're out racing, but that was the car for me. And thank you, Dad and Mom, of course. I mean, I know it's Father's Day, but I've really got to give props to Mom too, because you got to go through the wife to get the okay.
And listen, it is Father's Day, so here's why I'm glad I'm not on social media. It's Father's Day. You single mothers are not a father. There we go. That's all I had to say.
Yeah, and it's true. But you know what? Unfortunately, those single mothers have to be a father because
they're a mother.
I mean,
they're a mother.
There's a comedy bit out there, and I can't remember the comedian's name at the moment, but it's true because I looked it up. Do you know that Father's Day is number 20 on the most celebrated holidays every year?
Number 20.
Number 20. What do you think number 1 is?
Mother's Day.
No.
Christmas.
What's number 2?
Easter.
No.
Valentine's Day.
Halloween.
No. Mother's Day.
Halloween.
So Jesus
Halloween
and your mama. Jesus and your mama.
Song. We should make that.
That's
I
a
got
country
Jesus
song.
and my mama.
Jesus and your mama. And then Arbor Day comes before Father's Day.
Of course.
In celebration.
Now Juneteenth will come before that.
So
I think
I think it should be Mother's Day, Father's Day, and then Family Day.
But that's on most celebrated holidays. Father's Day is number 20.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pops down there at 20. Hey, we cracked the top 20.
That's right. That's all. You know what?
That's what a dad says.
Top 20.
All right, yeah. Good.
Hey, I'm on the list.
I'm on the list.
I was going to say, if I'm on the list, I'm happy.
We'd have made it on the Casey Kasem countdown.
That's
so.
Hey, Casey Kasem. I love that.
Top 20.
All the things that Mom and Dad, taught you about. And, with our dads, everybody, I don't know what it was like for you, Pete, and you guys, but the one thing that my dad has taught me, and I'm pushing it and passing it on to my kids, is learning by example, not by what they say, because I'm horrible. Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah.
But my kids have stepped up and are doing what I do, not what I say. Like my kids are both very hard workers. They're very smart. They love people. I guess I shouldn't say they love people. They love people. They'll do what they need to do. But unfortunately, people these days are just assholes. There's so
I
many
love
assholes
everybody and dislike,
until they give you a reason not to.
everybody equally.
I think it's amazing how my kids listen to me. I just started to realize this.
I don't
Like
think
when you say stuff,
you sure they're listening?
you say stuff and they don't respond. Like with my son, so he's starting college this fall, and he's going to college to play baseball. So he doesn't know what the hell he's going to study. Years ago, I said at dinner,
Girls, hopefully.
I said, well, he's already into that.
Or whatever.
Years
Or
ago,
boys,
I said,
whatever.
I wish I'd have taken business as a college major because, I got into the communications business. I got into radio and TV, which was what I wanted to do, although it was in a corporate AV environment. But I never really had a business sense, you know. And later in my career, I'm a manager, senior VP, now running a small business. I didn't learn any of that business stuff. So I said to my kids one night at dinner, I should have taken a business degree because you can apply that to anything.
Yeah.
And
it's the
it's
the most versatile education. Absolutely.
I'll be damned. 3 years later, I said, Dylan, what do you want to take in college? Well, I want to take business. And I was like, holy crap. He listened to what I said.
Or he listened and he probably saw. Right.
And he believed it.
He sees it actually happening firsthand.
But when I first said it, it was like, nobody's listening to me. But they are.
If you think about it,
if
you think about it, everybody, you get in, you want a job, and then you want to move up the ladder. I mean, what's at the top of the ladder is business ownership. So you got to take some business classes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what?
You do. And I think that's one of the most paramount things that you have to do. And they actually should start you out. We talk when we start going into some of these real deep conversations, like about schooling and talking about the brains and understanding your brain and how it works and, mental health. I think that's another class that should be started to be taught very early in life is business. Yeah. A business of running your life.
Well, I think that's where
it's simple.
I was fortunate because the high school I went to 4 different high schools because we moved a lot.
I was going to say got kicked out a lot. Moved, got kicked out.
Just whatever.
Ran your Vega against the principal and won.
But we actually did have a marketing class. It was business marketing, and I took that and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they taught us how to do a business plan. They taught us what marketing actually was. Marketing is not sales. Marketing is telling the story. Sales is closing the deal. It's even now people don't take that into consideration.
That's because they blended them together, sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So that's actually what my degree was. I got that. I graduated from Columbia with sales and marketing.
But they're two completely separate things, entirely separate.
Just as a business.
But they work in conjunction with each other. You can't do both. You have to do both in order to survive.
Marketing is the story. It's the why, the how. It's the emotion. Sales is the solution. It's what is,
and I think
going to.
I just learned something new. Thanks, Pete.
So, anyway,
and I think it's wonderful that you would go for
that
4
was in
years
high school
to learn how to run a business from somebody who's never been out of school.
And that's the thing that's
a good business program is going to have business leaders.
So, but we actually had in high school, we did have some of our teachers had their own businesses, and I'm not talking high school. I'm not talking college here, but because I came across people in the time I spent in college that were never mind. They just
we'll pass on that thought. Thank you, folks.
They
Pete's eyes just rolled back in his head if you're not watching. But so I got a question for each one of you, dads, right?
Yeah.
If there's one thing that you could say that your dad gave you or taught you that is going to help you get through this life better, what would that be? Or let me even make it a little bit. What is the one thing that you learned from your father that is priceless, that has made you the person you are today?
Oh, boy.
Real easy.
We just stumped Kent here. He's double talking.
No, real easy. My dad loved to teach lessons, right? So one of his sayings was always, "That's your money if that's how you want to spend it." And as a kid, you don't understand what that means. You get older, you're like,
as an adult, you don't understand what that means.
But he would, when you're a kid, you're sitting there flicking on and off the light, making the light, like lightning. And my dad would come in and say,
"Never did that."
Yeah. My dad would come in and say, that light switch only has so many on and offs. and you just used a bunch of them. Right.
Right.
And as a kid, again, you don't know, but now that I'm a dad, I'm like, oh, everything.
Every time that switch goes on and off, you're going, hey,
everything in life, everything you have in life has a shelf life. You know what I mean? Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
And the more you use it, you know,
Yeah.
okay, that's one less time I can do that.
right.
And as you go through life, you know that you're sitting in the stands with your kids watching games. It's one less time you can do that.
And you don't think about it.
You don't think about that. So now I've come to really enjoy everything in life because it's one less time that I can do that.
Right.
You call your parents, one less time that you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and you just learn to and what he really instilled in me is you learn to just be present and love life in the moment because it's this is one less time.
Yeah.
That this show will air.
And that's when you hit your 50s, you actually do start to see that because, like I said, until I was 50, I was just coasting. I was kicking ass, taking names, but I wasn't appreciating the shit. You know what I mean?
Just one less time.
just, right? Just like racing this last Wednesday, it's one last time.
Yeah.
Pops didn't run. And I don't think he'll run next year either. I mean,
but if he's there,
he's with us.
Right?
And I'm so upset though, because we did not get a picture of all of us together because we were so busy having so much fun.
Yeah.
And then when we sat down to lunch, he said, "Oh, let me get a picture." He took a picture of all of us boys sitting down, but he's the one taking the picture.
Yeah.
So I got to figure out a way to superimpose him in there or something, or go back there and take a picture of it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Jen says, Dad, listen, it's okay if you don't know the answer. It's more important to know how to find
I like
the
that.
answer. And
Your
that's
dad
a
was
good
cool.
one.
I like that.
I like that. Yeah.
That's a good one.
My dad was a college professor, so what I learned from him was just education, and not formal education,
Books,
but educate yourself. And I think we talked about this a couple of weeks
And
ago.
that's something you'll pass on to your kids too, right?
Yeah.
So the
And
thing that you
learn-
learn most is
yeah.
pass to your kids.
Learn more. He learned languages. He traveled the world. He knew books. He knew sports. He wasn't just an intellectual. He knew a lot about football, college
Did
football.
he get Alzheimer's?
He did die of Alzheimer's, as a matter of fact, although he knew me. He wasn't, my grandma had it and she didn't know who I was. My dad absolutely knew who I was when I saw him last.
That's brilliant, though.
But yeah, he just taught me how to gain knowledge. The more knowledge, the better. Whatever it is.
Keep exercising.
Even if
that
it's,
brain.
carburetors
Learn something
or,
new every day.
no
matter
whatever.
what it is.
Yeah.
So, Pete, what about you?
It's not going to sound nice, but he actually taught me how to, in life, as you come up against things, figure it out. And there was a moment when I actually had a pretty bad motorcycle accident and I had no one else to call. And I called my dad and he said, "Well, doesn't really sound like my problem, Pete. Figure it out." And I was on a payphone and hung up, and there I was with a broken bike and kind of a busted up self. And so I figured it out. And it was.
Do you hold that against him as in a bad way?
No, it sounds
not
bad.
Come out good.
It doesn't sound. I mean, it sounds kind of harsh,
right? Well, were you hurt, or was you just more? Were you more like I don't want to say mentally hurt, but not embarrassed type? Dad, I wiped out. Can you come get me?
No, I was just like, because I knew my dad was not. I kind of expected that response.
Right.
My dad, while he was a very calm man, he was not a person that you called on for really much. Later in life, he provided some wonderful help when it was needed. And I was very grateful and very thankful for that, when I was in my adult years. But he was not a...
At least he answered the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So back then, ring.
Ring. But in that regard, not a very supportive kind of fellow. And I knew that, but it was the only call I had to make at the time. And then, okay, I'll figure it out.
For those of you listening, a payphone used to be maybe alongside the street or something. You'd put some coins.
And if you have one sitting by you, let me know because I want to buy it and put it in my museum.
And I happen to have a dime for the call.
Right. Yeah.
Or
The
calling
dime
card.
card.
Don't forget your calling card.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Make a long distance call.
You always have those lessons you learn.
It's a tough lesson, but
right.
So what did you take from that?
what I took from that was, you know what? I can be more resourceful than maybe I think I can.
And that's why you read dictionaries.
And it's one of the reasons. I love words. I love, But to be more resourceful with what you have available to you.
Right.
To look at what you have and be as resourceful as you can with what you have on hand.
What about you?
Honestly, I mean, there's so many, but I think the most important one, and I don't even know if he even realizes that he pushed that on me, is if you want something and it's interesting, or if it's something that you desire, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. Just go after it. If you fail, you fail, but you don't fail because you tried. Right. You're going to figure out a different way to get to it, and I mean, and that's what's really pushed me to be where I'm at right now. Because when I was in school, I was a bullied kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I got bullied big time. I was fat. I was low self-esteem. I was fat. So, I mean, I always was trying to be making friends and, be out in front of people. And I mean, that's what kind of gave me my personality, because I wanted to talk to people and being accepted. And he's like, Scott, just do whatever you want to do. Don't do it because someone else says to do it, or don't do it because someone else says don't do it. If you want to do it, just do it. It's your choice. You only get, one world to go around. I don't think he said you only get one life to go around. I think that was more of my friend's dad that said life's not a dress rehearsal, right? It's not. It's if you want to do it. And that's why I'm trying to tell my son, especially these kids that sit on their phones. It's like, and I'm going to use a swear word here, like, get the fuck off your phone, off your social media, get off your computer, go out and do it.
Do it. Yeah.
Right? Go do it, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Right? I mean, I do a lot of stupid shit, and it's funny because I was talking there. I always ask for forgiveness instead of permission. But the one thing, and I'll let it go from there. But as my dad has said, if you want something and you want to try it, just go do it. Because if you don't do it, you're going to regret it. And that's one of the things, if you read, I forget what the book was, but they're talking to all these centurions and older folks in homes. What is the one thing that you would tell your kids or other kids to do, right? Or not to do? If you want to do something, do it.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit on your deathbed and regret saying, I did not try that.
Yeah.
Try it, fail, and move on. But if you don't try it and you don't fail at it, you're never going to succeed at it either.
And there are some things to echo that. Jen says, Dad, lesson, be resourceful. My dad worked for Union Carbide. He invented things for big companies. He invented spray-on deodorant by being resourceful. Jen, I'm grateful to your dad because I used that invention this very morning.
Roll-on. Did your father do that too?
I used the spray-on. She's putting a straw in a tube like spray paint. Well, why not do that for deodorant? Boom, you're welcome, Gillette.
Yeah.
And I will say I use this, and I've said this often. My wife's grandmother, the one who was 109, when I met her, she gave me a backhanded compliment and said I was a brilliant thinker, and that was too bad. And I'm like, oh, gee, why? And she's, because you got to be a doer. Because even a stupid doer will get something done.
Right, exactly. If you can be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't do it, it don't mean jack shit.
It doesn't mean jack crap.
So
there you go.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, just last night, my daughter, she's 18, comes home, and she's like, Dad, come here. Dad, come here. I'm like, what? She goes, come here. So she pulls me into the kitchen. She goes, I ran a red light.
Oh, you're screwed today.
and I go, okay. I mean, was there police there? I mean, did you get arrested? I mean, what happened? No, nobody was there. And it's an intersection that does not have a camera. And she goes, I don't think there's a camera. And I said, well, where was it? I go, no, that doesn't have a camera. She goes, I'm freaked out. I mean, literally, I pulled up and I just stopped.
So you really taught her well.
Like it was
she's guilty.
Was a 4-way stop, and then I went through it. I said, oh, I've done that all the time. I said, what were you thinking about? Usually, when I do that, I've got 18 different things rolling through my head.
No, there's no car coming.
I said, here's what you're thankful for today. You're thankful for that God didn't, because she crossed 120, or 47. She crossed 47. So I'm like, you're thankful because God made sure there wasn't any cars or semis coming at that particular time, and you made it through the intersection.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, it happens to everybody, where now with my son, when I was younger and he was that age, and I was in my 30s or whatever, pay attention. attention, you know.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't God's fault, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been like, pay
So,
attention.
let me-
What are you doing? You're going to get killed.
Right.
Let me ask you this real quickly though.
Yeah.
Because you threw that in there, and you said God did. So if she got hit by a car, was that God's fault?
Yeah, it's a lesson, right? It's a lesson in life, right?
But why is it God's fault?
What do you mean?
You said it. Thank God there's not another. Or God
Yeah.
made it so there's not another car coming. But if a
Yeah.
car came and hit her, is it God's fault?
Well,
that the
thank
car
God
was
you're
there to hit
alive.
her? Right.
Thank God you're alive then, right?
Well, yeah. Thank God you're alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? I mean, there's always something to be thankful for and learn.
Well, the only reason I
I know
ask that
that.
is I have a lot of people that say, God did that for me. Or
Oh, yeah,
I thank
no.
God for that. It's you.
Yeah.
It's what you were taught. It's what you do, and it's the time, it's the place, it's the circumstance. Just like, my dad and mom put me on this earth.
Yeah.
Not God. God gave us opportunity to be here.
We can talk about that next
I
week.
was
know.
gonna
We
say,
can
that's
talk
a
about that
great
next
topic
week.
for next
But
week.
hey,
Yeah,
but
we can do
it
that
is
next
Father's Day this weekend. We got less than a minute, guys.
Happy
Please,
Juneteenth,
if you haven't
everybody.
talked, if you have not talked to your father for whatever reason in a while, please reach out to them. Just let them know that you love them, regardless of any of the shit that you've been through. That you are here because of them, and you may have problems because of them, but you only have one father.
Yeah.
Appreciate them in some way, shape, or form this weekend and every day if you can. And then also thank your mothers because they put up with those fathers. And my mother had done that very well.
Yeah.
She supported him for everything that he's done and
Absolutely.
raising us. Guys, I love you all. People, go out there, hug fathers, hug mothers, be respectful to each other. Stop back next week, share our show with everybody, and stop and visit us at 216 The Net, The Grounds with Giles and Jones every Friday, 7:30.
And Elwood.
And Elwood here, yeah.
I'll be back.
And
I
Elwood.
want to
Yeah.
talk about that God thing.
Take care of
Yeah.
yourself.
Don't eat it from the child. Sure, you can stuff your face. Jump in commercial breaks. Another bulletin. That bullshit's transmitting. It's shoved right down your throat.